It's a little cold. I got to fix that. I don't know. Okay.
Surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. So when I fight, I will fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And I'll see through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? Yeah. For Jesus there's nothing impossible. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Say, Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadow, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. I need to hear you sing this one. Say, Almighty fortress, you go before us. Every voice need to be lifted in this place. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. I dare you to sing to your Father. In the shadow, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. So when I fight, I will fight. speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind. 'Cause I know there's a peace within your presence. I speak Jesus.
So if you're wondering what we think the solution is, it's Jesus. There you go. Well, guys, welcome. My name is Jeremy Crosby. I'm the Connections pastor, and today I'm your morning host, and I'm excited that you guys are here. Who's happy to be here this morning? Man. I just want to say it's really cool. I was standing back there getting ready to come out, and I could hear you guys singing over the band. That's really cool. You guys are crushing it. So, but man, it's going to be a great day today. If you're new here today, if it's your first time, you're like, wow, this place is, they're rocking. We just want to welcome you and say thank you for choosing to be with us. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're starting a new series this week. We'll get into that in a minute, but it's going to be a great day. I do want to point out our app. We've been talking about that. Last Sunday, we have a fresh new look. Raise your hand if either last Sunday or this week you went in and saw the new version of the Church Center app. Okay, about half. So this week I asked about 10 different people, hey, did you see the app? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't see it yet. I'm like, about half the people. So today, it'd be a great time to do it right now. Pull out your phones. If you already have the Church Center app downloaded, just go in there. And I want to just point out our service is going to flow through there. So the first thing you see is I'm new here. If you're new here and you're downloading it, you're just hearing about it, or maybe you heard about it last Sunday, that's for you. The second tab right there is this week's service, okay? If you go into this week's service, you're going to see the set list, which is some of the songs you just heard. And then this week, you can, if you're like, hey, what did they sing this week? It's right there. Right below that, a live stream, and then you see the connection card and prayer request. So our connection card, Miss Myrtle's excited about the connection card and prayer request. The connection card and prayer request is the way for you to connect with us to connect with you. And we have a prayer team that prays over those each week. Our staff prays over those each week. What you guys are doing and getting connected and moving forward in your faith, we're praying over that. And if there's anything going on in life, put that there as well. Okay, that prayer request and connection card. If it's your first time, you can fill that out right here in the app. Or we also have connection cards in the seats in front of you. You can fill that out. If it is your first time, we want you to fill that out and bring it out to guest services at the end, and we have a gift for you. So just go ahead and take that, fill it out online, fill it out right there. If it's not your first time and you want to update anything or let us know what's going on, or you want to respond to to today's message, you can do that right here. What's happening? Everybody say, what's happening? What's happening? That is where you can find out, guess what? What's happening at Gateway. So we get asked all the time, hey, what's going on? Well, we're going to make it simple. It's under what's happening. Go to the app. If you click on what's happening, the two things I want to point out, I'm really excited about this, is every month, and I'm saying that to you because now we're accountable and we have to make sure it all happens. Every month we're going to have a men's ministry night and a women's ministry night. Can I get some cheers for that? All right. So in there you'll see the men's night that's coming up February 16th at 6:30. And then the women's night is right down below that on February 24th at 6:30. And our goal is to get those to where the men's night is in the first half, the women's night's in the second half of the month. That way we kind of see what's going on. So the men's night will be shifting up a little bit. But hey, if you haven't been to a men's night, or you're a guy, you haven't been to a women's night, and you're a lady, make sure you get to one of these. It's awesome. And it's for everybody in the room. You know, it's a great time. So just want to point out what's happening. That's where you go to see what's going on. Next, you'll see the sermon notes. So that's where you can follow along with the message. Today, Sam is kicking off a new series called What Happy Couples Know. And as he says, he's our resident marriage expert. So I'm sure it's going to be great, right? And hey, I do want to point out today he's going to be talking a little bit about intimacy and using the S word, the 3-letter one, not the 4-letter one. Not much. So if you have a small child, or we have Gateway Kids over there, and if you have a middle schooler and you haven't had that word pop up yet, they've heard it. You just don't know you haven't talked to them about that. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So just not a lot. I don't want to make it weird, but I just want to give you a heads up so a parent doesn't come up and say, hey, I was caught off guard. So, but anyway, you can follow along with the message. It's week 1 of What Happy Couples Know. It's going to be a great series. This is a 4-week series. We're going to roll it through February. And if you're not married, you're in the room, you're like, I'm not married. Hey, we've all been affected by marriages, right, in our life, whether it's ours or someone else's. So it's good to understand how that works and what the good book says about it, the Bible. So last but not least, giving. We'll have an opportunity to give later in the service at the end. If you call Gateway home or you want to support the ministries, you'll be able to do that. I just want to point it out. It's right here as well. So, hey, we're going to continue with the service. Like I said, I'm excited about it's happening again. It's happening with the Ghost Pirates thing. What's going on here?
We're brought here today by the love that Sarah and Davis have for each other.
I can't believe I get to marry him. We're perfectly compatible in every way.
Yeah, she just gets me, man.
Someone to talk to all night long.
Someone to talk to all night long.
Early morning jogs.
Sleeping in late.
We'll spend the holidays with my parents.
We'll spend the holidays with my parents.
We'll have one well-behaved daughter.
I'll have 4 or 5 little dudes running around.
He'll help me pay off my debt.
I should probably tell her about all my debt. Is that important? We'll share a bank account.
Obviously, we're gonna share a Facebook account.
Do I need to friend my in-laws?
Someone to do my laundry.
Someone to do my laundry.
Double income.
Stay-at-home dad.
Meal planning, of course.
Take out
The city.
the burbs.
Mission trip.
Ski trip.
Blue.
Red.
Cat.
Dog.
Fries.
Rings.
Potato.
Potato.
Minivan.
Motorcycle.
2 words. Finished basement.
2 words. Man cave.
He's so smart.
Do you think that birds wish that they had hands?
We're going to be so happy.
We'll be so happy. I'm gonna crush it at being a husband.
Ooh, what happy couples know. Welcome to Gateway, you guys. We're glad that you're here this morning. I mean, how else would you open up a series about marriage, right? Marriage and relationships. Man, oh man, I'll tell you, Elvis will be in the lobby after the service. You want to get a picture with him. He is also an actual pastor. So if you'd like to renew your vows or seal the deal, go right ahead. I saw a couple shotguns. So here we go. Week 1, what do happy couples know? Let me start by prefacing this sermon today with this. I'm excited about this series for a few reasons. For one, it's been, percolating inside of me for a while now. A need, I don't really know how to explain it, but just this desire to want to help people do marriage better. If we're not careful, we can kind of just wander through life and we can be married and it can be okay. So there's a lot of people sitting here and we're not married anymore and it wasn't okay. And so, they can resonate with this. Let's try to take control and let's get a hold of this thing earlier than later and do better, right? Because here's what I know, that, man, if our marriages are strong, God can really do a work through our family, through our lives, and through the community in the world, right? Without strong marriages, though, we're not firing on all cylinders. And I'm really passionate about this. This is an important thing for us to grab a hold of and to work on, and to not have the attitude of it's okay. We're getting by, it's okay, we're doing okay. Because it can be great. It can be great. You may not believe it, but it can be great. And so my prayer and my encouragement to you is through this series to really take it seriously. And maybe you're sitting here today and you're on the edge, you're like right at the end, I'm getting ready to divorce. I'm getting ready to serve papers. I'm getting ready to go talk to a lawyer. I'm getting ready because I can't anymore. This is just one-sided or whatever it is. And my encouragement is hold off. Just wait. Let's take 4 weeks. And this isn't meant to be a guilt trip. This isn't meant any of that. What this is, though, is, man, let's wait and let's see what God does. Let's apply the principles that we're going to learn over the next 3 or 4 weeks and see what God does. And let's just wait. Let's slow down, right? And put in the work. So that's my encouragement to you as we get started. And I'm going to make some generalizations also. I'm very, simple, I guess is probably the best word to describe me. Generally speaking, there are probably guys sitting here in the crowd that are like, okay, 4 weeks, we can get through this, This is, I liked the car thing last couple of weeks, but this marriage stuff, 4 weeks. And there's a lot of ladies probably sitting here, generally speaking, that are like, finally, somebody's going to say something to my husband or my fiance, my boyfriend of 18 years, that I hadn't been able to say, or I'm too embarrassed, or I don't know how to say it, or whatever. finally we're going to talk about some of this stuff, right? So let me just explain each other to us, right? Women, generally speaking, I don't want to get your emails and your letters because I don't care. Guys look at relationships like women look at cars, okay? I get in my wife's car, and I'm like, how long has it been making that noise? And she's like, I don't know, I just turned the radio up, and we want to go check it out. Like, we'll pull over. I'll pull over on the side of the road. I don't want that wheel to fall off or whatever it is, right? And my wife is like, it's still going. What's the big deal? Why do we need to stop? Why do we need to figure this out, right? It's still going. That's what we think about relationships. Like, it's still going, right? Why do we need to stop and talk about this kind of stuff, right? Do we really need to talk about this? And the answer is yes, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Like, I'm totally dude, but we have to talk about it. And so that just kind of, so we understand how each other goes, right? Like, I'll open the hood, just every once in a while, open the hood, because I'm looking to see if something is unplugged, I think. I mean, that's as far as my expertise goes. But that's what we do, right? We want to check on it. We want to make sure it's okay. We're maintaining. And that's how women think about relationships more often than not. Like, we need to talk about these things. It doesn't mean something's broken. Doesn't mean it's a train wreck. Doesn't mean we're about to, be broken down on the side of the road. But we need to maintain. We need to get better. We need to let's see where we need to improve, right? Because it can be amazing. It can be so much fun. You can be a truly happy couple, and that is my prayer for each and every one of us. And so they have put up in front of you today the expert. You're welcome. Somebody believes me. My mom is here. So I was trying to think, actually, in the first service, I didn't plan on talking about this, and it just came out. And I think I've been married for 18 years. That's what I was unsure about, how many years. I think it's like 18 or 19, something like that. But I'm pretty sure if I carried the one correctly, it's 18 years we've been married. And we are experts. Man, you guys you're in for a treat, quite frankly. So I'm glad that you're here. Now, if you're new to Gateway, I don't really take anything seriously. So you can take all of what I just said and do whatever you want with it. But if you're new to Gateway, listen, I want to tell you this also today. We are going to set the tension. We're going to bring some tension up, right? Possibly for a bunch of us. And then we're going to leave it right there. And we're going to settle it next week. Okay? So I'm sorry. You guys watch your soap operas. I know that this is something you love anyway, so don't worry about it. Obviously, I'm talking to the women, not the guys. See, these are the emails I don't want to get. But here's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about this tension, okay? And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. We're going to settle it next week. We're going to kind of dive into it next week. But also what we're not going to do this week, there's not a lot of scripture verses in my message today. There's one. I'm a fan of a lot of Bible. I usually use a lot of scripture references, okay? But I just want to tell everybody, if you're new to Gateway, or if you've been here forever, it's going to be a little bit different today, and it's okay. We're going to talk more about the scripture and dive into this concept that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that next week, okay? But today, we're just going to make everybody angry, and I'm excited. I can't wait. So, here we go. I have hopes, dreams, and desires. Things that I want. Things that I want to accomplish, things I want to experience, right? I have these hopes and dreams and desires. We all have them. And I purposefully sought out some younger people this week because I wanted to ask them, what are your hopes? What are you looking for to get out of life? Not what are you looking for in a mate, but what are you looking for to get out? What do you want to get out of life? What do you want to experience? How do you want to live? What do you see for yourself? Somebody that I talked to said, well, I want to live kind of out in the country, have about 5 acres, right? And then several other things. And then other people, I actually asked one of the high school small groups on Wednesday. They didn't know that I was asking them, but I did through a friend. And I said, what are you looking for in a future spouse? And man, it's a lot of things. And I'm none of them. So, which is good. They're not looking for me, but I think no guy was any of them. It was awesome. And they're so diverse. So diverse in what they want. Like, I want a quiet guy, I want a loud guy, I want a fun guy, I want a boring guy, I want to, like this. It's just crazy. And it was a lot of fun. So we all have these hopes, dreams, and desires. We all have these things that we look for, that we're wanting to get out of life, right? And the thing that I've realized that young people haven't done yet is they've not realized, okay, so if this is what I want to get out of life, this is who I need to look for over here that kind of complements who I am, right? And so understanding this, that I have hopes, dreams, and desires before we're married is important. So my encouragement is to go define your hopes, dreams, and desires. Like, what do you want? Oh man, it's a notebook, right? What do you want? What do you want? That was perfect. But this is important. We figure it out, right? So what do we want? Understanding our relationships. So we want kids, right? How many? What about discipline? Like, these are things that we talk about, right? And also, what race will they be? I don't know we're a very diverse family. How many times can I go hunting with the guys? Or the ladies? Right? Can I go on trips? Can I do that? Who's going to do the laundry? Like, one of my hopes, dreams, and desires is to not ever have to fold a pair of socks again. Right? Who's going to do that, right? Are you going to work out? Are you going to maintain this body that you had when I met you? Because these are some of my hopes, dreams, and desires, right? What are we going to do with our time? How are we going to spend our time? We're just going to gaze into each other's eyes? You know? Talking about how beautiful you are, how much I love you. Is that what we're going to do? Sounds fun. How many of these can I own? And if this is one of your hopes, dreams, or desires, you know what this is. And if you don't, your husband probably doesn't have any. How many of these can I own, right? What am I going to drive? Not this. Is it the minivan? Is it a truck? What is it? What is it? Are we going to travel? We're going to go all around the world? I'll tell you what, one of Katie's hopes, dreams, desires, all that, she wants to go to Ireland. I'm not interested. Because, like, there's a lot of YouTube videos that you can watch that kind of gives you a real good picture, you know. What about financially? What are we going to do? Well, how are we going to save? Are we going to go to Ireland? Or are we going to have a retirement? Like, in my brain, it's either or. Right? Financially, how many accounts are we going to have? Are we going to have our own accounts? Or are we going to be joint accounts? What's the savings account going to look like? How much can I spend without having to call and ask if this is okay? Right? I don't know who just got in trouble over there, but how much can I spend? I called Katie one time and I said, hey, how much can I spend without having to have a conversation with you? Because we hadn't talked about this before, early on in the marriage. And she says, well, what do you want? Like, it depends on what the thing is, I think, for her. Because if it fits in her collection of hopes and dreams and desires, the sky's the limit. But if it's just mine, let's talk about it. Right? Man, oh man. Okay, what about vacations? Are we going to go on long walks on the beach and collect the ocean's garbage? To sit in a baggie in your house and never be used or looked at again? But we can't throw them away because I don't know why. I don't even know why. I can't even come up with a reason why you would have all of this. What about the dishes? Who's doing the dishes? This came from my house. I'm trying to keep it clean because I want to, these are valuable. Who's doing the dishes? What or what not? What do you wear at night? What is it? This also came from my house, I'm proud to say. It gets cold. Will you won't you wear? Hopes, dreams, and desires. We all have them. What are they? Let me tell you how I grew up, real quick. I'll try to make this quick, but there's a lot. And I've talked about some of this before, but my mother was amazing. She had 4 boys, okay? And I'm going to tell you really quickly, this is a routine in the morning. We would wake up, alarms would be set, we'd get up, we would all have a chore that we had to do. Either it was bringing the trash, to the kitchen, all the little trash cans in the bathrooms, the laundry room, all that kind of stuff, right? Or we would collect up all the dirty clothes, bring them to the laundry room, or we would collect up all the hangers, bring them over to the laundry room, all the loose hangers. Every one of us had something different, except for the baby. And you know what? Well, we can talk about that next series when we talk about parenting. But David, he's just the baby. No, whatever. Okay, so we all had a job that we had to do, right? We'd do that job. Then we would meet in my mom's room. My dad was gone to work. He went to work like way before I was awake. I actually came in high school when he was leaving to go to work sometimes. I feel like that was probably rude on my part. But anyway, so we would meet in my mom's room, and we would have a devotion time. She had organized this little thing, right, where we would all read parts of Scripture, and we would take turns, and then we would pray together. And then we would go into the kitchen where she had already prepared a breakfast. And I'm not talking like she put the cereal on the table. No, she cooked breakfast, like made it, which is insane, right? There was like pancakes or waffles or French toast or eggs and stuff or, whatever it was. It was a prepared, made breakfast every single morning that we had school, right? I mean, every morning. And then we would go off to school with our lunch that she packed us in our brown bag. And inside that bag was not just our nutritional lunch, but she also, at the beginning of every school year, would photocopy her Bible. She would photocopy the book of Proverbs and then cut out all of the individual verses. So every day, I had a nutritional lunch and a Bible verse from Proverbs inside my lunch. Every day. This is actually something, she gave this to me for Christmas. She photocopied Proverbs, put them in a little container, and now I have it, and I put them in my kids' lunch. It's so cool. Isn't that neat? Some of the verses, though, don't make any sense because you just get one, And also, I have an 8-year-old little girl, and some of them are mean verses, and she's not going to understand it. So I have to really kind of pick and choose. Which, it became a thing around my lunch table at school. What is the verse going to say? Is it going to say something stupid? Is it just in the middle of a thought? Or what is it? And so we would read. So this, something that just seems kind of trivial, right? And just neat, just for me, right? It became a witnessing tool to the people around my lunch table at school. How cool is that? I just thought of that. That was neat. But anyway, then I would come home, and we would do our homework. It would take me about 6 hours or so, because I wasn't interested, right? We would have a snack prepared when we got home, like a pudding or Jell-O squares or something made. Again, this isn't just granola bars thrown on the table. No, this was a prepared snack. We had those glass pudding cups. You know what I'm talking about? There's like a little stem, and so we had that. Crazy. And she would make something for us every single day after school. We had the after-school snack, right? And then it was dinner time. Dinner was prepared. Every night, we made dinner. We didn't, she did. And then it was bedtime. And you know what she did while we were at school? She did laundry one day. She did the ironing one day. She did whatever else. I don't even know. I don't even know how many things you have to do to run a house. I'm not sure. But she did it all. A couple weeks ago, my dad actually, the old Celica that we had on stage here a couple weeks ago, my dad delivered it to me, actually, because it was for sale up by where he lives, and he said, I'll bring it to you, no problem. And so he brought it down, and my mom sent this frozen soup that she had made, and it was in her freezer. She sent it to me, right? And then she had this Mexican dish that she had made, and it was frozen. She sent that to me as well. She sent me 2 T-bone steaks. Mom, way to go. Like I'm a college kid or something. This is amazing. This is what she sent to me. When I went to my mom's house for Thanksgiving, Katie wasn't able to go because she wasn't feeling well, doing her therapy and stuff, and she wasn't able to go, so I brought the kids to my mom's house, and my mom, the day before Thanksgiving, wasn't preparing a meal for us. She's out of practice. It's been a while since I've been in the house. And she said, hey, is it okay if we just kind of, figure it out? And I was like, no, it's not okay. This is not how you raised me. You raised me to have certain expectations, and I'm here, and I'm hungry. Do you know what my mother did? She's like, you know what? I have a meatloaf in the freezer. I'm gonna go get this meatloaf real quick. We'll thaw it out. We'll have meatloaf sandwiches. It'll be great. It was great. Who has a meatloaf in the freezer? We don't. We have, I don't even know what we have in there. It's just a pile of stuff. We just use what's on the top. And can't fit anything else in there. Like we have some like the Totino's pizza. I think we have some of those in our freezer. Like that's it. But she was prepared. That's my mom. That's how I grew up. My clothes were ironed. My dad's clothes, my brother's clothes were all ironed. My underwear was folded, put in my drawers. My socks, paired up, folded, put in my drawers. Now, I had to put them away sometimes. We had chores, like I said. They taught us responsibility, all that kind of stuff. But my mom did so much for us. Now, my dad did too, but this is about my mom. And I'll tell you why in a second. So I get married. You guys have met my wife, I see. And I've had this discussion with my wife's mom, my mother-in-law, about how she was really great at teaching Katie, my wife, the principles of the Bible and how to live life. Not so much the skills of the stereotypical wife. Again, I don't care about the emails. But this is what I expected. This is what I expected. This is what my mom did, so why would I not, this is just natural to me. And I get married. Let me tell you something. We are 18 years in. This shirt, ironed. Because I ironed it. Oh, hush. Let me tell you something. So I work at a church, right? And so I have to wear, I don't have to, I don't know why I do it. Sometimes I wear a button-up shirt, sometimes. And so I like them when I go in there at 6:30 in the morning on Sunday, I don't want to have to iron something, right? And so what I would do is I would go out there Saturday night, figure out what I'm going to wear, and I'm like, man, you know what would be really nice? If my clothes were ironed all through it, like just about all through our marriage. About 15 years in, we're having this conversation. And I said, you know what would be nice? If my clothes were ironed, they were just ironed. When I go and look, I have options. Not just which one is the least wrinkled, right? And 15 years in, Katie says to me, do you mean to tell me you would like for everything to be ironed in your closet, like hanging up, you would like for everything to be ironed, so you could just go and pick out what you want? Not like pick what you want and then iron it. And I was like, exactly. That's exactly what 15 years in, we finally had this conversation. Like, yes, I would love that. And my mom actually came to visit right around the same time as this conversation. And I said, she's like, hey, what can I do? How can I help out? And I said, Mom, you know what would be amazing if you just went and got my clothes and ironed everything in my closet. And you know what my mother did because she loves me? She ironed every single shirt and pair of pants that I have. And I haven't done laundry since. Because I want them to stay straight, right? So I'm very careful. I don't sit down. I stand all the time. But that's my mom. It's not my wife. But I have expectations. I have hopes, dreams, and desires. And some of it is ironing. Right? Is that so hard?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story. There's no service after this, so we can be here forever. Okay, listen. My wife, this is an honest truth, and I hope she's not watching right now because, I got to go home after. But there was this day. She figured out ClickList. Right? So you can go online, you can put your groceries in a little thing online. When you get there, they bring it to your car. She figured this out, I don't know, a few years ago. And I walked in from working all day long, right? Slaving away at my desk at the church. And she is like, ugh, we don't have anything. I don't have any dinner prepared. We don't have any groceries. The website was down. And you know what I did? We're still married, so it was okay. But here's what I did. I called my mom, and I said, Mom, could you just have a conversation with Katie real quick about how you still got groceries and managed everything in the house with 4 boys that were rambunctious little crazy people? Could you Katie just left. She just walked into another room. It was obviously a joke. It was fun. I had a good time anyway. But there's these expectations that we have in marriage, right? Whatever it is. And I do premarital counseling from time to time, and I don't enjoy it because here's why. Young people don't think they're going to come across these problems. It's going to be fine. We love each other. We're not going to dump all this stuff on our spouse. We're not going to dump all this on them. We're going to love the same stuff. No, you're not. I'm just going to tell you, you're not. But this is what we do. We have these expectations, and we take this and we dump them into our spouse's containers. We take them out of ours and say, okay, now you're my person. Here, make all this come true. That's what we've done. And we have these hopes and dreams and all of this good stuff, and it's great stuff. Some of this is because we're made in the image of God, and this is how He's created me. This isn't bad stuff. It's just our stuff. It's our hopes, our dreams, our expectations that we've come up with from things that we've seen and heard and from what we've experienced. We've come up with our hopes, dreams, and desires because of things that we've seen and heard and things that we've experienced. And some of these are things that we're trying to avoid, right? Like my parents we never could travel. And so I want to travel, right? Or we never had any money. And I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel secure. And so I want to make sure that we have this amount of money in the account at all times, right? Whatever it is. Some of these are things that we're trying to recreate. This is a great part of growing up, or this is a great part of what I've seen. And I want this to be in my life too, right? But what we do is we take this and we give this to our spouse or our significant other and say, here, make this come true for me. And that is a problem. So what happens though when we do this? They become expectations. So I expect you to provide me with this. I expect this now. Obviously, we're going to go walk on the beach and collect up this pile of seashells because they're beautiful. And they are useful. I'm using them in a sermon illustration right now. Obviously, but when we have these expectations put on ourselves, but from our spouse, we have 5 options. There are 5 options, and we're going to talk about 4 of them today. We're going to leave the 5th one until tomorrow. Next Sunday. So here's number 1, we leave. Number 2, we win. Number 3, we conform. And number 4, we compromise. So we win, we leave, we win, we conform, or we compromise. Let's briefly go through these. We leave, right? It's too much. This is out of control. This is insane. I can never live up to this. So I'm out. This is not what I signed up for. It's too much weight. I'm out. Right? We leave. We win. Stronger personality usually wins. The stronger personality, oh, he's doing so good. I'm training him. Right? He's almost there. He's doing much better. Right? The stronger personality kind of wins, right? They're training, they're pulling them, they're winning. That stronger personality is happy because things are going great. You guys are both working on one container, one pile of hopes, dreams, and desires. It's awesome for that one person, right? It is that one person. They convince, they control, whatever. They use guilt. That's number 2. Number 3, we conform. I become somebody that I'm not. and I work out of this container of hopes and dreams and desires, even though that it's not mine, because I'm afraid that you won't love me. I'm afraid that you'll leave. I'm afraid. And so we compromise. But at the end of the day, when you compromise, a couple things happen. One, it's temporary relief. It's temporary. So I've brought the tension down in my relationship because I'm just appeasing you, right? But it's not me, and it's temporary. And two, we lose respect for each other. I lose respect for myself because I've now become somebody that I'm not. You lose respect for me because I just rolled over and am doing what you want me to do, and there's no respect. There's a lack of respect. And then we compromise, number 4. And for many couples, this is the goal. Maybe we've seen this in our parents or other couples, compromise. Let's meet in the middle. You do your part, I'll do my part. Right? I'm watching you to make sure you do your part, and I know you're watching me, and that's okay. That's our deal. That's fine, right? It's compromise. But in this one, we have a debt-debtor relationship. It's a contractual relationship. I will do this if you do your, or I'll do this when you do yours, or I'm going to make sure that you're doing so that I can do this. Right? This was the plan. This is the deal. That's compromise. And it's not the worst one. You can get to the end of your marriage and still be married, but it can be so much better. It's not a great marriage. This isn't what God is calling us to do. And again, listen, I'm bringing the tension up. We're talking about the issues. We're going to talk more about this next week, so don't miss. But here in the contractual relationship, in the compromise relationship, we have low trust. I'm watching you to make sure that you're doing your deal. You're holding up your end of the bargain, right? I know you're watching me. It's okay. But there's low trust. And where there's low trust, there's low intimacy. So let me tell you something. If you want to know the secret to great sex in a marriage, it is to figure this out, is trust. Because where there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of intimacy. You cannot fully give yourself to somebody who you do not trust. And so if you want to know the secret, it's figuring out trust. Trust is the way to intimacy. And I don't even like saying that word. So we're going to move on. Not sex. I like saying that word. It's the intimacy part that's... That's it. But here we go. These marriages, again, they can go the distance, but they're fueled by the wrong thing. Compromise says, I'm committed to this marriage. And again, listen, it's not the worst. It's better than being not committed to your marriage, right? I'm committed to my marriage. I'm committed to making this work. Here's the problem, though. You didn't marry a marriage, right? You married a person. Are you committed to the person, or are you committed to the marriage? And here's why that's a problem, because, man, my marriage, my relationship, my reputation, I want my kids to grow up with 2 parents. That's me and I, and selfish. It's not great. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's not the worst. But it can be so much better. It's not that much fun. So, when we bring our hopes, dreams, and desires and we dump them on the other person, we have these 5 options. We're talking about 4 of them today. We leave, we win, we conform, or we compromise. And this is what happens. We loses. We loses. There's a 5th option. Again, we're going to talk about it next week, but here's what happens. We've created these expectations now, which is a debt-debtor relationship. It's a debt-debtor relationship. And here's where we have trouble. You owe me. You owe me. Now, this is expected, and it's a trouble. Like, that's what a man is supposed to do. That's what a woman is supposed to do. That's what my mom did. That's what my dad did. You owe me. If you do these things that are expected, here's the problem. You can't have unconditional love in this kind of relationship either. So I owe you eliminates I love you. Because if you do what's expected, it just brings you back up to square. It brings you to zero. I'm expecting flowers. It's Valentine's Day after all. You bring flowers, boom, you're back up to zero. Well, let me tell you something. When I went back home for Thanksgiving, I wasn't as harsh as I come across in front of you guys, because I can be cool. My mom's not here, right? But when I didn't have a meal, and I said, oh, that meatloaf would be amazing. How unexpected was that? One, because I've been out of the house for like 25 years. And Katie just doesn't have meatloaf in the freezer, right? So it was pleasantly surprising when my mom says, I have a meatloaf in the freezer, I can go get it. Let's thaw it out, it'll be ready for lunch, we'll have sandwiches, right? That was amazing. I probably told 15 people, do you know what my mom did? She had a meatloaf in the freezer. That was amazing. Like, that's gratitude is what that is. So, you know what? In my marriage, guess what? When Katie does something, it's completely unexpected. This is what makes our marriage great. She does nothing, right? So when she actually does something, I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm totally. This is what makes it amazing. I don't know how she lives with me, honestly. Listen, my wife is amazing, okay? She's great. She's phenomenal. Let me just get all that out there while I talk bad about her. No, she is phenomenal. But when she does something, it's not expected. Not because she doesn't always do it. That's not why. It's because I'm not expecting her to do it. It's awesome when she does it. And I'm thankful. I'm filled with gratitude when she does it. When she's working out of my pile of hopes and dreams and desires, that's so cool. What an amazing thing that just happened. Like, what an amazing feeling. I can't believe you did that for me. That's awesome. That's the difference right there. It's not an expectation. Because if it's an expectation, there's no gratitude. You're not gratitude-y when you're not extra thankful, right? When you go to a fast food place and they give you your order. I mean, these days, I kind of am. Oh, you got it all right. That's great, right? No, that's what's expected. When you pay for a service and that service is done, that's normal, right? When there's expectations and they meet your expectations, great, sweet, we're on the same page. But man, when there's not expectations, when somebody is working out of your bucket of stuff here, that's amazing. That is amazing. So it's not an expectation, right? That is no way to live. How much longer can I work so hard for you in your pile of stuff that you want to do? I can never meet all of these expectations. And it's tiring. So what do? You leave, or you try to win, compromise, right? You change who you are. So here's the question. What do we do with all of our hopes, dreams, and desires? What do? I want to be set up. Listen, we grew up extremely poor. That's why we ate at home all the time. We couldn't afford to go out. So I want to have a certain amount of money in the savings account. I want to have that security for myself. This is something that is in my hopes and dreams and desires. Katie wants a pool. So, what do? I don't really care about this stuff. Katie does. So what do? I just ignore it? I'm not really, anyway, you know what I mean. So what do? Do I ignore it? Do I lie about it? She might look different than when I met her. This is too heavy. This is hers, not mine, by the way. 15 pounds, what are you thinking? The dishes. Man, I hate doing the dishes. Do you know how, listen, we have an amazing marriage. Have I said that yet? I loaded the dishwasher and unloaded the dishwasher 3 times yesterday. 3 times. Because we had so many dishes piled up. in the sink. We built a house in 2018. We have a huge sink for this reason, because we knew it was going to happen. Anyway, I hate doing dishes. I guess I'm not going to go hang out with the guys. You know, I guess I'm not going to have that car. What do I do with these expectations? I guess I'm not going to have both my girls. You know, I guess you could only give me one girl and one boy, whatever, you know. I want some more of these. You know, but, you know, whatever, I guess I won't have any. We're not going to travel. We'll do what you want to do. What do I do with these? What do I do with these? The short answer is this. You leave them in your container. And you hold on to these. We're going to talk more about that next week. But here's the question that's going to answer some of this question right here. Here's the other question. What do they owe you? What do they owe you? And I'm going to tell you, happy couples know nothing. They owe you nothing. Well, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? Here's the deal. What happy couples know, and I know this because I know some truly happy couples, they owe you nothing, but you owe them everything. That is even farther down the insanity path. You're saying that I owe you everything, but you owe me nothing. Exactly. Here's what it says in Ephesians 5:2. Walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. Walk in the way. This is Paul, who's Jesus. When he came on the scene, he took. There was 630 some odd laws that they had in this time right here. 630 some odd laws, and Jesus broke them down into two. And then he said, "You know what? Of the two, here we go. This is what Jesus said in John: As I've loved you, you love each other. As I have loved you, you love each other." And then Paul says, let's apply this to relationships. And he says this in Ephesians, walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. That's extreme. That is extreme, because I like to walk in the way of love. Like, that sounds like a cool song. That's neat. But just as Christ, because I know how that one ended. Like, that's, what do you mean? That means I owe you everything, and you owe me nothing. So what does it look like? It's a submission competition. It's a race to the back of the line. And again, we're going to break this down a little bit more next week. We're going to talk about this next week. So here I have some homework for you guys today. We have to go because your kids are hungry. But here's your homework for next week. First of all, don't talk about this and how your spouse or significant other has got this wrong. Okay? How you've been so giving and they've been so selfish. Don't talk about it. Let's wait until next week, okay? Let's talk about that. So here's your homework. Here's your homework for this week. 1, what is your collection of hopes, dreams, and desires? What is in your pile here? What is in your collection? Put some words to this. Define this. What are you looking for? What are you looking to get out of life? What are your hopes, dreams, and desires? Write it down and have a discussion. And then 2, have you expected someone else to carry the weight of your hopes and your dreams and your desires? Just take a little bit of, have I resented when I've come home and this hasn't been done? Have I been upset when my expectation wasn't met? This is their job as a spouse, right? As the woman, as the man, as whatever. This is their job. I washed the car. Of course you did. That's your job. Have I done that? Is that who I am? Is that how I'm living? Is this the marriage that we have? If it is, it's not too late. We're going to talk about this a little bit more next week, but that's your homework. What is your collection of hopes, dreams, and desires? Write it down. Know what it is. And then number 2, have you expected someone else to carry the weight of your hopes, your dreams, and your desires? Now, in a moment, the host team is going to come forward. They're going to pass the baskets around, and we can collect the offering. But also, I want your connection cards. Especially if you're a first-time guest here. Those connection cards, we want to connect with you. Listen, I believe that this is an amazing place to be, to serve, to learn. And this is also, we get an opportunity to pray with each other, to pray for each other. And there's a spot on that connection card for prayer requests. So write those down. You know what? I've been doing this all wrong, and this is amazing, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks to learn what to do about it. put that on that connection card. Let us know. We can pray with you through this. Right? The prayer team will be up front, and they'll pray with you as well about this or anything else that's going on in your life. So in a moment, we're going to sing this last song. And let this be your prayer. Worship God through this music and this last song and the words. Let it be your prayer as we go from here. Let's pray. God, I thank you again for this opportunity, for us to be reminded, for us to set the stage a little bit for the next few weeks and understand some tension that we may be feeling in our relationships. And I know this doesn't answer any questions today, but it starts a conversation. God, I thank you for who you are and your wisdom and for your calling on our lives and your will. God, now help us over the next few weeks to have the boldness and the open heart to listen to what you have to say to us. We pray for the Holy Spirit to lead us, to guide us. And God, as this series plays on, Lord, that we come up with these things that we can have conversations and there's healing. There's a change of direction. God, we pray for strong, healthy marriages. Marriages that are healthy to get healthier. Marriages that are struggling to get on the right path. We thank you for who you are and your plan for each and every one of us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Will you sing it as we close with song? Your heart is for me. Your ear is listening. I'm safe in your love. Your armies of angels
Give it up for the worship team. Guys, I'm excited about this series, and I love kind of the direction this is going, and just talking about, again, what happy couples know. And it made me think, my wife Amber, not Krista. A lot of people think Krista and I are married because we have the same last name. Get that all the time. We were sitting over there today, and just we were, kind of nudging each other and joking and cutting up. But it reminded us. We were talking about it afterwards. Like, it reminded us that our marriage, in any relationship, but especially marriage, has to be a continual work in progress. Like, it's not the relationship that's good and we're going to focus on our work or our kids or our this. Like, it's a relationship that always has to be worked on and improved and communicated on, because if not, it can just slip. It can deteriorate, right? It can start, slowly leading towards, like Sam said, the situation that no one ever thinks they're going to get in when they're in premarital counseling. Everything's going to be great, but you have to always work on it. So I'm excited to work on my marriage, and hopefully you guys are excited to work on yours. And if you're not married, or maybe you're going to get married, or one day you hope to be married, or even if you never hope to be, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about marriages and just relationships. I'm excited about that. Hey, I do want to point out, guys, we were talking about what's happening earlier, and on the 22nd of February, just a few weeks away, that's a Wednesday night, we're going to have a night of worship here, okay? That's going to kick off the season, what you've heard of the season of Lent, the 40 days leading up to Easter. We're going to just talk about that night through worship, what that means, and the sacrifice and the cost of what was to come, to just take a look at our lives and figure out what that looks like for us today. So we want to invite you to that. If you're a student in the room, you've been hearing this, but that night we will not have students, but we're going to bring everyone, including students, adults, everyone in here, and we're going to have a night of worship. So we would like to invite you to that. And then also, if you're asking, how do I get connected here? How do I learn more about Gateway? Make sure you guys sign up for the process. We've been talking about that. We've had some people sign up for it today. That's in the app. You can fill out the connection card, drop it at guest services. That's going to be kicking off in March. So get signed up. We're going to communicate and get everyone through. And the process is just walking people through a tour initially, and then all the way to, if you would like to, continue to learn more about Gateway. But we just want to be able to sit down with you and just share our heart with you. So make sure you get signed up for the process. But you guys, man, as you're heading out, if it is your first time, take that connection card to guest services. We have a gift for you. We want to invite everyone back to week 2 of What Happy Couples Know. You guys have a great week.